Okay, here we are in downtown Portland, Oregon. We're on the park blocks right next to the Portland State University campus. It's a beautiful day today, and we're going to take advantage of some good weather and go out and get some AE 9/11 Truth petition signers. Okay, so when we approach people, we're not going to let them know in advance that we're with AE 9/11 Truth. I'm just going to hold up my clipboard like this, and I could be any petition gatherer that they're used to seeing in this area of the park. And what I typically say is I get them to stop. I say, do you have a minute? And get them to stop, give me their full attention. And then I will typically say as my first line, we have a petition drive for a new 9/11 investigation. I'm with architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, and we studied the 3 tower collapses in New York, and the government reports don't match the evidence. So we need a new investigation. You want to sign our petition? So typically I get 3 responses after that. I get absolutely I want to sign, some people. I get other people saying no, I'm good, and they walk away shaking their head. And then I get probably half the people will just say nothing. And those are the people that I will then go over the brochure with. So most people, when I say we have a petition drive for a new 9/11 investigation and I ask them if they want to sign our petition, they just stand there. They don't say anything and they don't move. So then I quickly say, have you heard about Building 7? And they almost always tell me no. And so what I like to do then is to bring out the street brochure and point to the 3-panel sequence of Building 7 going down. And I let them take a look at that. Then I explain that if you look at the videos of that building going down, you swear you're looking at a controlled demolition because it looks just like the videos we see on TV of the Las Vegas casinos being demolished. I point out that no airplane hit Building 7. It fell at 5:20 in the afternoon. It was just across the street from the North Tower. It caught fire when the North Tower came down. And that the government says that fire was the cause of that building coming down for the only time in the history of modern steel frame skyscrapers, supposedly. I then point out that the building was in complete free fall for 8 stories. And that's usually very intuitive to people. They know that that means something besides fire brought that building down. And I point out that literally if you drop that building into midair for 8 stories, it would have gone down no faster than it actually did on 9/11. So that means that some other force was required to take out the 81 support columns. Because if it had crushed its way down, then the building would have had to slow down, so it couldn't have been free fall. And that's consistent with controlled demolition. It's not consistent with fire. If they're still interested in hearing more, talk about the molten metal, the evidence of molten metal in at least 4 different forms that I know about. And I like to look at, first of all, the 3 debris piles. Underneath the debris piles, there were fires that were burning for over 3 months. And for several weeks, at least after 9/11, they were pulling up beams with molten metal dripping off the ends of them. And so that's not consistent with the government's explanation of fire as the cause of the tower collapses, because all sides agree that the fires weren't hot enough to melt steel, even with the jet fuel. So there's no official government explanation for how those how that molten metal got there in the first place. And then they don't even talk about it in the reports. So that is consistent with the use of incendiary, though. That along with the iron microspheres, which I sometimes point people to, and the microspheres are thought to be the remnants of molten iron droplets, airborne, that solidified as they cooled. And again, there's no explanation on the government side for how those molten metal droplets got that way. And we do point out that the thermite reaction produces molten iron as one of its 2 products. So that is consistent with the thermite reaction. And then in fact, I like to point to this picture and mention that nanothermite, a high-tech incendiary explosive, was actually found in the dust by a team of scientists and published in a peer-reviewed journal. And so this accounts for the evidence of the molten metal that we see, and the government never tested for the presence of explosives or incendiaries. And once I mention that, most people are just shaking their heads, so they pretty much agree that a new investigation is needed.
Even then, when you got to take down a building, man, you have to actually set the explosives up right to bring it straight down. If it's basically a natural thing, basically because of some type of disaster, it wouldn't go straight down like that. It'd be a lot more chaotic. Because once you open that door, you know, there's really no turning back. Yep. So they pretty much, okay, what can we tell the people, basically something they will believe? Well, we already got the tragedy from the planes hitting. but how that came down didn't seem about right.
Okay, thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Sure. Or I think I was in first grade, and I just walked in and I saw it on the TV, and I was like, "Is this a movie, Mom?" And she was like, "No, this is really happening right now." And I was like, "Whoa, man." And so I don't know. It doesn't make sense if you know. It doesn't make sense why they would do that.
So this is what the petition looks like. It's the standard form that Richard Gage uses whenever he does a presentation. It's the paper petition form. We only require 6 fields to be filled out though, which is the name, email, phone number, city, state, and the zip code. Everything else is optional. We don't mind if they fill it out, but we don't require it.